For years, well, obviously we didn't think we could bill out anything for these type of procedures, and so it was always a cash-based service. But you're saying that there's actually a way to get this approved through various insurance companies, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Medicare being one of them. Medicare is starting to see the value in the amniotic products.
Yes.
And they've given Q codes to several products that are FDA approved. And we've gone in and built it, worked with them to figure out what the requirements are and what the medical necessity is, and we're able to get paid.
Welcome to the Regenerative Warrior Podcast. My name is Dr. Ross Carter. Today, our guest will be talking about how you can actually bill out for regenerative amniotic fluid injection. So I'm so excited. Please introduce yourself.
I am a certified professional coder, and I own a medical billing company that specializes in regenerative medicine.
Fantastic. So, for years, obviously we didn't think we could bill out anything for these type of procedures, and so it was always a cash-based service. But you're saying that there's actually a way to get this approved through various insurance companies, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Medicare being one of them. Medicare is starting to see the value in the amniotic products.
Yes.
And they've given Q codes to several products that are FDA approved. And we've gone in and built it, worked with them to figure out what the requirements are and what the medical necessity is, and we're able to get paid.
That's fantastic. So is it just Medicare that you found that are doing the reimbursements? Are there other insurance carriers?
Yeah, there's other payers. TRICARE will cover it, and Blue Cross and United Healthcare Medicare Advantage plans. They follow Medicare guidelines. They'll cover it as well.
That's fantastic. So it's not as simple as just simply, putting in a code and just expecting money back. Is that correct? There's a little
bit. Yeah, that's correct. That would be really, really nice.
Wouldn't that be nice?
That would be terrific. Yeah, especially if you've been in chiro or some other specialty that is cash-based.
Yeah.
It's hard to take on. But the basic premise of Medicare and the payers that follow Medicare guidelines is there's three things that are required to get paid.
Yes.
One, patient has to have coverage for the service you're providing. Two, it has to be considered medically necessary, but not just that, it has to be documented. So if you did it but you didn't document it, you didn't do it.
No.
Third thing is submitting the claim correctly. 100% of the time, those three things are in play. With regenerative medicine, they are particularly careful with it. Whereas if you do an adjustment and send it to Medicare for acute treatment, it'll kind of fly through and get computer approved.
Right.
These are not. These are approved by humans.
Got it. So how does it? So what's the first step in determining if a procedure would be covered by someone's insurance plan?
So you have to contact the insurance company and ask them specifically about the code for the product you are planning to inject or apply. We actually have a whole department that does that. There are a couple in the country. I think we're the largest one. We're very particular. We don't want any provider doing an injection on a patient and then finding out afterwards that it wasn't covered.
Yeah, that's a bad day.
It is a bad day, especially with an expensive product.
Yep.
So, for example, we'll make sure we won't just get on availability like very oftentimes the front office staff will do.
Mm-hmm.
We talk to humans, we dig deep.
Okay. So what is it, the basic essence that you're going to ask this person is, how do you do that?
So it's very interesting. When we call, we actually had an incident with Aetna where it is a covered code because Medicare covers it.
Yes.
But it is not a payable code. So
it's not a what?
It's not a payable code.
Payable code.
So Aetna considers it covered but not payable. We thought that was odd. We asked to speak to a supervisor. It didn't make sense to us. Right, exactly.
Like what do you mean? It's covered but
right. we're virtually scratching our heads. And we finally escalated up to a supervisor who said it's considered covered by Medicare, but it is not payable by Aetna.
Okay.
And Aetna hires script readers.
Yes.
Work past that. Something oftentimes people's staff don't have time to do. Hopefully everybody's got a great person helping with their eligibility.
Yeah. Yes, that would be true. So this is before they build out, or is this after someone's built out, or were you saying that?
It's got to be before. Don't even schedule an appointment until you know you have coverage.
Right.
So the reason we thought of this, it really wasn't even just regenerative. We started to look at statistics from across the country, and we realized we had more denials. The number one reason for denials was the patient wasn't covered for that service on that day. And you can't go back and undo it. You can't unsee them. You can't uninject them.
Wait a second. When you said they weren't covered for that procedure, but only on that day, but another day they could have been covered?
It could have been that you checked their insurance on February 27th. It was perfect. They booked an appointment for March 2nd. And guess what? Their insurance expired on February 29th.
Oh.
And you only checked it 3 or 4 days ahead of time. We dig really deep. That is one of the number one reasons. The other reason is the grace period allowed by the Affordable Care Act.
Okay.
So everybody has till the 15th of the month to pay their premium.
Right.
But if they don't pay their premium, their policy is canceled retroactively to the first of the month. You should be very careful when you're treating these patients during the first 15 days of the month. That's something else that we look into. We look to see if the patient has their premium paid in full or if they're in the grace period on an exchange plan.
And if you do find that it is covered, there are some other steps that are required to do prior to even being able to bill it, correct?
Right. So it has to be deemed medically necessary. What is medically necessary for a regenerative product?
Yeah.
It's a little different. Most of the LCDs that are out there, the local coverage determinations, the policies that we all follow, have the procedure, and then they have a list of diagnosis codes that they consider medically necessary. And if you use one because it's appropriate for your patient, you're good to go, and a computer will approve your claim and pay it. However, this is a process LCD.
Okay.
They're looking for the process of healing the joint. So if I could use a knee, for example, they want to know, what did you try on this patient's knee to resolve their pain, to resolve their inflammation, to resolve their discomfort before you jumped right to this expensive amniotic injection?
Yes.
And that was a little frustrating at first. So I remembered, I'm the taxpayer. That's my money that they're spending on these injections. Maybe it's okay that they're making sure that if the patient twisted their knee getting out of the car, that if you ever had knee pain, you don't realize how you get out of the car until you hurt your knee. It's a crazy way we all bend out of there.
Right.
If you hurt your knee, and it could be resolved with NSAIDs, some exercise, some compression, and stay off your feet. They don't want you to go do an amniotic injection on this patient. So they want to see the process that they've tried NSAIDs, PT, even hyaluronics, which is not conservative treatment, but at least you tried all these more affordable, conservative ways of resolving the issue before you jump to amniotic.
Now, if they're coming to you for the first time, this would probably not be the first thing you need to do with them, right? Correct.
You're going to want to definitely try an analgesic injection.
Right.
Recommend weight loss, physical therapy if you do it in-house, those types of things. Try to get about 90 days of conservative treatment. If the patient's lucky, you might cure them. That would be terrific.
Uh-huh.
What the government's trying to do is they're happy to pay for the regenerative injections, but they should be the last stop before a total knee replacement or the use of opioids. And they want to document that.
Sorry for the interruption again. To find out more about this speaker, become a speaker on our show, have Dr. Carter present at your event or podcast, learn more about coaching, consulting, tissue allografts, exosomes, supplements, legal help, or how to create $1 million business card and dominate your area, we're here to help you. Just text your name and any question to 561-962-1231. Write that down. That's 561 962-1231, or go to our website at drrosscarter.com to learn more. On with the show. So when you're dealing with a patient, it sounds like the best kind of care you would do would be recommend at least a 3-month regenerative procedure to see how far where they get, and then if that doesn't work, then that's when they're going to probably allow you to do this amniotic injection. Is that accurate?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I have a care plan built up that I'm happy to share with everyone.
That'd be great.
Some different protocols, treatments that you can do for the patient that continue to escalate.
Yes.
Do a series of hyaluronics, followed by the regenerative. It's actually, if you can really cure a patient's knee for about $3,300, avoid a total knee replacement and the recovery involved, the cost involved, and opioid use.
Oh, yes.
It's what I call the trifecta of healthcare. Provide quality patient outcome, you save the government money, which is our money as a taxpayer, and we all make money. I mean, that's a trifecta of healthcare. I love it.
Yes, that is awesome. So you would do this conservative care program for, say, 3 months, and if they continue to still have problems, then this is when you can, and you've had time to actually contact the insurance to make
Correct.
Sure it's covered, right?
Right. You don't want to recommend it to the patient if they can't afford it.
Or they don't have the right coverage.
Right. Yeah.
Got it. So once that happens, then you can then you are able to typically bill out for the procedure. Now, after the procedure, are other therapies going to be covered, or is that going to do any restrictions, or what typically happens?
No, none at all. Hopefully it's a one and done.
Okay.
Help the patient. There are a lot of, there are probably more patients out there with knee pain than anything.
Yeah.
It's totally okay to cure them, have them come back in 6 months for a follow-up and move on to the next patient. Having said that, a lot of people are like 95% okay. It's totally okay to try another series of hyaluronics.
Right.
It's okay to try some analgesics or bring them back in for a little recovering physical therapy if you do it in-house.
So really, this is basically a complete plan that they can do these procedures, but it has to be a part of an entire program, not just, hey, come on in, we'll do an injection, you're out, you're
right.
covered. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah, absolutely. And if somebody went to another doctor and then they see your marketing and they want to try a hyaluronic, you can request a medical record and jump straight to the injection.
If they've already tried other procedures.
If they've already tried it.
That
but
you can
that total package
yes.
is a good package.
Fantastic. And so you're saying that Medicare is the primary, that is the one that's leading the way on this, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And is there like, is it state by state or is it national in regards to the average reimbursements that are coming from this specific procedure?
Yeah, it is state by state.
Okay.
Literally, it is based on local coverage policy.
Mm-hmm.
So I have states that have a flat fee. They pay $15.50 per cc. I have states that pay 15% over invoice.
Okay.
I have states that pay 6% over invoice.
Well, I don't want to be in that state.
Yeah. I need to know where you're at. The other reason I like it to be part of a package.
Yeah.
Provide this expensive product, and then you're only going to make $400 or $500. One, what's wrong with making $400 or $500? You inject lidocaine, you make about 11 cents. You get paid for the injection. You
right.
Paid for the ultrasound guidance or the fluoroscopy.
Yeah.
So I like to build the whole package so that you're looking at it as case-by-case basis. Okay, this patient's bilateral.
Yes.
After paying for the expensive amniotic product and the hyaluronics, I'm still going to make $3,300 per knee on this patient. It's a nice package.
Sure, because it's a package. It's not just a procedure.
Right, and I think that works really well for integrative practices because chiropractors are very used to dealing with packages. They see value in it.
Yes. Or any other pain management.
No, any other pain management.
Yeah, not just chiropractic.
The billing anyway.
This applies to pain management and orthopedic and all that other stuff.
Right? Absolutely. Even podiatry for ankles and plantar fasciitis.
Yes.
But those doctors are used to billing procedure by procedure. So it's not as
Well, they just need to know that they need to do a whole thing.
Exactly.
Beautiful. Cool. All right. Well, that's the main things that it's fascinating. I didn't know that this was something that was available, and and it just makes sense. You want to, my training was always to sell a package anyway. It wasn't just, hey, here, one,
right.
This, and now this is kind of just reaffirming that, yes, you can actually get reimbursement, but you do have to put together a plan for the patient, not just go, here you go. And,
right.
And that's awesome. So your company specializes in, tell us a little more about your company, what they do, what you guys do.
It's a complete a la carte patient support back office program. We started working with practices, identifying workflow deficiencies and staffing deficiencies, and we fill the gaps on an as-needed basis. So we can help with medical billing. For people who are doing their own billing, or their office manager doing the billing, usually someone's getting the claims out, but they're not following up.
Yeah.
That is something that we can take off their plate.
Right.
You give the busiest person more to do because you're already paying them. They're still hampered by a 24-hour day and an 8-hour workday. We also do the eligibility verifications because they're so complicated. Many front office people are great with the patients, honest, nobody steals copays, they're fabulous on the phone. They're really lost when they get into the eligibility. And that's why it was the number one denial that we were looking at when we were looking at all our statistics nationwide. So the department that does that. We help with credentialing, NIPS and MACRA, completion and bonuses. Chronic care management is something that's fantastic. Chiros are not eligible for it, but once you bring in a nurse practitioner, you're eligible to do chronic care management. And we teach you how to maximize all the income streams that are appropriate for your practice and for your staff.
Now, can you completely take over all the different, let's say a practice is small and doesn't really have an effective billing department, or they just don't have it. Can you do all?
We do full service bundle. We do it all the time.